Hello and welcome. I'm going to show you how to make a simple fishing minigame, how to change the loot depending on where you're fishing at, how to add a chain fishing bonus, and a recast option. Additionally, this works with every version of RPG Maker. So first, let's see what it looks like, and I'll show you how to make it. So the way it'll work is that you'll need bait to go fishing. So let's get some from this character. Then we'll head over to a fishing spot. It'll give us the option to fish, just leave, and a small tutorial. So let's click fish. It'll then let us select which bait we want to use. Throw our line out. Then after a random amount of time, you'll get a bite, and you'll have to click up to catch it. Depending on what you roll is what fish you'll get. And then you'll be prompted to recast, and every time you successfully catch a fish, when you recast, you'll get a % bonus for a higher rarity fish. We'll click no. So in my inventory, I have a common fish, and if I decide to fish at a different spot, I get an ocean fish. So let's head on over and see how to make the fishing minigame. So to get started, head to your items tab, add 7 to your maximum, and change the first 3 to fishing bait, basic, super, and ultimate. Under their item type, make sure they're all set to key item, and everything else can be whatever you'd like. Then we'll add 4 fish, being common, uncommon, rare, and legendary. For the fish, you can have the settings be whatever you'd like. Next, we'll go to the common event page and use 4 that you haven't used yet. Have one of them be called fishing event. Set random 1 to 100. Fishing win button. And fishing lose button. For the fishing event, make sure the trigger is set to none. Then head over to set random 1 to 100. Make sure that one is set to none as well. And in the contents, we'll add control variables. Pick one that you haven't used yet and name it random 1 to 100. For the operation, have it be set, then do random and choose 1 and 100. For the fishing win button, change the trigger to be parallel process. Click on the condition switch, use one that you haven't used yet, and call it fish win button. In the contents, add a conditional branch. Change it to button up is being pressed. Do not have this checked down here. In the conditional branch, we'll add a control variables. Pick one that you haven't used yet and call it fish win 1 lose 2. And then we're going to have it be set to 1. Under that, you can add a sound effect that will sound like you're catching a fish. I'll use this water one. Under the sound effect, we'll add a wait 40 frames. That way the water sound effect won't be playing 60 times a second. Onto the fishing lose button, let's change the trigger to parallel process. Go to the condition switch, pick one you haven't used, and call it fish lose button. We can go back to the fishing win button, copy and paste everything in here into the fishing lose button, but we'll change the variables to 2 for lose, and we'll change the sound effect to something that sounds like we did not catch the fish. I'll do a bow and arrow sound. Let's head back to the fishing event. We'll add a control variable and set the fish win 1 lose 2 to 0 to reset it every time we try to catch a fish. Now let's add a text, call it fishing spot. Then add show choices. We'll have fish, leave, and if you want, you can add a how to fish instruction. When cancel, we'll do choice 2 for leave. Under fish, let's add a text that says select bait. Under that, we'll add a select key item, but on newer versions of RPG Maker, it'll just say select item and then change it to a key item. For the variable ID, we'll change that to one you haven't used that yet and call it bait selected. Now let's head back to the items tab so we can remember the number for all of our fishing bait. So for mine, it'll be 17, 18, and 19. Back on the common event, fishing event, we'll add a conditional branch underneath bait selected. We'll choose variable, bait selected, equal to, and then choose your first ID number. Make sure it is not clicked down here. In that conditional branch, we'll add a change items, select the bait associated with that same number, decrease by 1. Under the item change, we're going to add a jump to label, which we will make later, but for now we'll name it label A and hit OK. Now let's copy and paste this conditional branch until we have 4 total. Change the variable number and item type to match the other ones. For the last variable, we'll change this one to 0, and we will check this down here. Let's delete the change item and jump to label. And under the else, let's add a text that says not valid bait. So the 0 means that you backed out of the menu, and the else means that you clicked on something that wasn't bait. So it'll say not valid bait. After the branch end down here, we'll add a exit event processing. And after that, we will add a label, and the label will be A. Then we'll do a wait 20 frames. And under that, we'll add a sound effect and choose one that sounds like you're casting a line. We'll add another weight 20. Then add a sound effect that sounds like something hitting the water. Then we'll add another weight 20. And now we'll add some random timings for when the fish will bite. So let's add a comment and name it timings. Add a control switches. Have the fish lose button set to on. Then we'll add a label and have it be E. Under that, add a call common event. Do the set random 1 to 100. Then add another weight 20. Add a conditional branch. Variable. The fish win 1, lose 2. Equal to 2. Make sure this isn't clicked down here. Inside of that branch, we'll add a control switches, the fish lose button. We will turn that off. Hit OK. Under that, we'll put a jump to label, B. After this conditional branch, let's add another conditional branch. Variable, the random 1 to 100, less than or equal to 90. Make sure this is not checked. And then inside of this conditional branch, we'll add a jump to label E. After that conditional branch, add a control switches, fish lose button off. And then right below that, control switches, fish win button on. At this point, the fish will bite, so we'll let the player know that they can push the up button. Let's add a sound effect. And a balloon over the player's head. Then we'll add a wait for how long the player has to push the up button. I'll do 30 frames. Then under that, add a control switches, fish win button off. Add a conditional branch, variable, fish win 1, lose 2, equal to 1, and make sure this is selected. In the branch, put a jump to label, D, and under the else, we'll put a jump to label, C. Next, we'll scroll all the way down and go underneath this leave and add a exit event processing. Under the how to fish, if you'd like, you could add a text saying that you push the up button when your character gets notified. But after the branch end, we are going to add a label, B. Underneath that, add a text saying too early. then exit event processing. Let's select label B and everything underneath it. Copy and paste. Let's change the label to C and the text to say too late. We're almost done. We just have to add the rewards and bonuses now. After the last exit event processing, let's add a label, D, then add a call common event, the random 1 to 100. This will roll to see which fish we get. Then we can add a bonus to that roll depending on which bait we used. So I'll add a comment here. Bait bonus. If you need to, you can scroll back up to check the item ID for all the bait that you used. Then scroll back down. Let's add a conditional branch. Variable. Bait selected. And have it be set to the super bait ID number. Make sure this isn't selected. Inside the branch, let's add a control variables, random 1 to 100, add 15. Then we can copy and paste this conditional branch. Change the number to equal our ultimate, and then change the bonus to 30. Now we can add another comment at the bottom to let us know this is the rewards. Under that, add a conditional branch, variable, the random 1 to 100, less than or equal to 70, and make sure this is not checked. Inside this branch, we can add a text saying, got common fish, and then below that, a change items, increase by 1, the common fish. Let's copy this branch and paste it. Delete the text and item inside. Change the branch to greater than or equal to 71. Then we'll copy and paste this branch into itself and change the insidemost one to less than or equal to 95. Then we can select these two, copy and paste them inside the innermost conditional branch, and change them to uncommon fish. Then you can click on the conditional branch with 71. We'll copy and paste it. Let's change the first branch to 96 and the inside one to 120. We can change the fish inside to rare fish. Let's go back up to the top and copy this 70 conditional branch. Paste it all the way at the bottom. Then we'll edit it to say greater than or equal to 121. Then we can change the text and item to legendary. At the very end, add a exit event processing. Make sure you click OK to save everything. Now to make it work, I'll just add some water. Add an event in the water. Have the graphic be anything that you'd like. Make sure the priority is set as same as characters, and the trigger being the action button. Then we'll add a call common event and have it be the fishing event. And that is all you'll have to do. Whenever you want to add a fishing spot, you'll just have to copy and paste this event. Now, if you'd like to sample it yourself, just add another event with any character, have them change items, and give you, let's just say 10 of each of the bait. And that's it. So we have our fishing minigame, but now how do we change our loot pool depending on where we're fishing? Well, there are two different ways that you can do it. An easy way that you can make quickly, and a file size friendly way that uses a lot less lines of code, but it takes a bit longer to set up. So I'll show you the easy way to do it first. Head to your Items tab, then add 4 to your maximum. Copy and paste all of your rarity of fish, again, down here. Then change the name of your 4 new fish to ocean fish. Head over to your common events, copy your fishing event, and paste it in any one you're not using. Let's change the name of the second one to ocean fishing event. On the ocean fishing event, scroll all the way down to where the rewards are at, and change each and every one to the ocean version. Make sure you click OK. Then we can head to the game world, add a different body of water. Let's copy and paste this event. Click Edit, and then edit this to our ocean fishing event. Now, when you're fishing over here, you'll get ocean fish, and over here, the normal ones. You could just repeat this process for however many different loot pools you'd like. Now, for the file size friendly way, head to your Item tab and add 4 to your maximum. Copy and paste each rarity of fish down here. Then change the name of the 4 new ones to ocean fish. On the original fish, in the notes, have it set to 1. And for the ocean fish, have it be 2. Make sure you click OK. Then we'll head to our fishing event. At the very top, add a control variables. Click one that you haven't used yet and call it common fish choice. Hit OK. Have it be set to 1 to represent our regular fish. Then we'll copy and paste this until we have 4. Let's edit this second one. Change the variable to something you haven't used yet. Call it uncommon fish choice. Make sure it's set to 1. Click OK. Then do the same thing for the other 2 rarities. And again, make sure they're all set to 1 to represent the original fish. Then you can click OK. On the world map, you can make yourself a new body of water, copy and paste your fishing event over there. Then you can click Edit and change all of these rarities to 2 to represent our ocean fish. Make sure you click OK. Go to the fishing event. Scroll all the way down to the rewards. Inside of the less than 70 at the very top, add a conditional branch, variable, common fish choice, equal to 1, and then make sure this is not checked. Click OK. 1's representing our normal fish, so we can copy these 2 and paste it up inside of that. Then you can copy this fish choice and paste it right below itself. Change the fish choice to 2, and then because 2 represents our ocean fish, change the text and items to ocean fish for common. Now we can do the same thing for the other rarities. Add the text, add a conditional branch, a variable, uncommon fish choice, set to 1, equal to 1. Make sure this is not checked. Click OK. Then we can copy or cut and paste these 2 inside of that branch. Then we'll be able to copy this whole uncommon fish choice, paste it below itself, change the number to 2 so we know it's the ocean fish, and then change the text and item to ocean fish. Again, for the rare fish, at the text, we'll add a conditional branch, variable, rare fish choice, equal to 1. Do not have it checked. Cut and paste these 2 inside. Select the rare fish choice, copy, paste it right below itself. Change the number to 2 for ocean fish, and then change the item and text to ocean. Again, same thing for the last one. Add a conditional branch, variable, legendary, equal to 1. Do not have it checked. Click OK. Cut and paste it inside of that branch. Copy the whole branch and paste it directly beneath itself. Change the number to 2 and change the items to the ocean version. And now you're completely done. If you want to add even more in the items tab, just make sure you remember what number it's set to. Then go to your common events, go down to the rewards, and you could just copy this branch, change it to a 3 or whatever number you have for your item, and change the text and item to represent the item that you have. But that's it. Just make sure in your event you have it set to whatever fish you want to be caught in that event. All right, now lastly, let's see how to add a recast option and a chain fishing bonus. So we'll head to your common events on the fishing event common event. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and right before exit event processing, add a text that says recast ? below the recast, we can add a show choices, yes and no, with cancel being choice 2. On yes, let's add a conditional branch, variable, bait selected, then equal to your basic ID number. Make sure this is not selected. Inside this branch, add another conditional branch, item, then the item of that matching fishing bait, and make sure that this is selected for when conditions do not apply. Inside this branch, we'll add one more conditional branch, variable. Choose one you haven't used yet and call it chain fish bonus, less than 5. Make sure this is not checked. Inside this branch, we'll put a control variables, chain fish bonus, add 1. Right above the else statement, add a change items, your basic fishing bait, decrease 1, and right below that, add a jump to label, A. After the else, add a text saying out of this bait. Now we can copy the conditional branch right below yes and paste it on top of itself twice. So you should have 3 total. Now we'll change the conditional branch for the second one to super, the matching ID for your super. Do the same thing for the in inventory, change it to super, and for the item, change it to super. We'll do the same thing for the last conditional branch, change it to your ultimate ID number, then in inventory, have it be ultimate, and the item, have it be ultimate. Now we can scroll back up a little bit to where it says recast. We can edit that text, hit enter twice. Then we can put current chain fish bonus, have a backslash, V, add these brackets, and inside the brackets, add the number for your chain fish bonus variable. You can hit preview and it should show a 0, so you knew you did it correctly. And if you don't remember what your number is, just scroll down a little bit and look for the chain fish bonus. It will be that number right before it. Now let's scroll to the very top, add a control variable, click on the chain fish bonus, have it be set to 0. Click OK. We'll also have to add this in. Scroll down a little bit until you see label A. Right after that, add a control variables, the fish win 1, lose 2, and have it set to 0. If you don't do this, then whenever you recast, it'll remember that your last choice was that you won, so you'll constantly win and it'll break the game. Finally, we'll head down to the bait bonus, add a control variable, random 1 to 100, add variable, chain fish bonus, OK, and then OK. And now everything should be good to go, and you'll be able to recast and gain a bonus to catching rare fish. That's the end of the tutorial. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.